I have spent the last 2 years improving my builds inside of Minecraft, but one thing that continues to hold me back is the roof. So in today's video, I am going to spend 100 days building roofs inside of my Minecraft Forever world. The way this video is going to work is for every building that I complete over these next 100 days, I am going to give its own unique roof, increasing in complexity as the video goes on. A quick disclaimer before this video starts, you are going to see that the day count is far below what it was in the previous video. This is because I had an issue with a cinema add-on that I was using for introduction shots, cinematic shots for this video, and I have been using for the past few months. Don't know what happened there, but the day count does say 3 right now. It is actually on day 574. Whatever you see, just add 571 days to the total. So to start this 100 days, I decided to finish off the guild hall that I started in the previous video. This guild hall is absolutely massive now, and since the last video, I have expanded it by adding an entire tower, which is now the tallest building in the entire city. And I cannot wait to finish off this build with an interior, because this is going to be the large, grand building that brings the entire city together and is the center of the story of this entire kingdom. For the roof of this build, I wanted to start bringing in chimneys to this world. Not only will it add a little bit of height to otherwise very flat buildings, but also adding the smoke on top brings a little bit of life to the city, making it feel like every building that has a chimney is being lived in and has actually got a function, which will eventually all of them will have. Now that the guild hall is finally completed, it is time to move on to the next road of this city. I want to build the city off towards the east, as I want to start working up towards a higher section of the city, so I can start building in some more sophisticated builds and really start working on like parklands and stuff like that to make the city feel really peaceful and a nice place to be. So here I have a number of builds with their layouts planned out, and I also have small little back alleys already planned out. I really just love the idea of walking through this road when both sides are caved in with buildings on both sides. And I mean, these small little alleyways and roads going off to who knows where, and also building these little alleyways in is allowing us to create some unique shaped builds that will also really test my building skills while building roofs. So I want to start off down near the road, of course, and I might move down, but I do really want to build this one over here as well. I want to start building with elevation, and going up this road will really help with that. But I'm going to start off down here with a very simple sort of design, similar to those ones, but a little bit different with a different color scheme that I haven't quite worked with yet. And I really want to try add in the idea of sort of having some dormer windows in the roof of this build, sort of to add a little bit of variation, make it look like someone is living in the loft space of the house. And I think it'll be a really cool thing to do. So I'm going to go get some resources for that. I want to use some calcite, some white sort of blocks, and mix in dark oak on the bottom, sort of replicating the tavern, but changing it to see a new sort of style inside of these two buildings here. So what I'm thinking for these dormer windows is to have a sort of 3 wide thing, which have blocks at either end separating them. And I think from there, all we have to do is maybe go up 1, maybe 2 blocks. I think maybe going up 2, and then continuing the roof into the main section like this. And then from the ground, you'll just be able to see these going along this building. And I'll do this again on some other buildings that are facing the side of a road. So it just looks as if the loft space is being used for some sort of use, maybe for some storage, something like that. because what I'm planning to do is from next episode, I'm going to be doing an interior every single episode, because this entire city is empty beyond the obvious exteriors of the buildings, and I want to make it feel really alive. And to do that, the best way to do that is to have it so as many buildings as possible in this city are all real buildings, fully furnished with stories behind them. So obviously, like the guild hall will be one massive meeting area. I'll have storage rooms and the towers being built up, and it'll just feel really as if people actually live here, rather than it just being an empty shell. So I'm going to replicate this dormer sort of style and see what else I can do. So I'm just going to count how far this is in. This is after 2 in from this side, just so I can make sure this actually makes sense. And then what you want to do is the 3 across. So you want another one there. So this one's only going to be able to have 2, but I think that is a pretty good design. So if I again put in the building blocks, that's a pretty good design, I think. And then in the middle of these 2 will be slabs connecting to the main roof. I now have a lot of this street planned out with the layouts of each building that's going along this section of the road. And there are currently 10 outlines ready to be built. They're probably not all going to be built in this video. I'm on day 15, so I have 85 days left. They might get built, I'm not really sure. But this next one is actually really small. It's so weird being able to build something that only requires 1 shulker box. I mean, that one there required 4, and now this one requires 1 shulker box. I've just come off building a guild hall that required like 20. So that's not quite what I had in mind for this roof. I think I have to lower it down by a block and expand that out. Just 1 more block to the right. That's unfortunate, let's say. That's not what I was going for. I think I just got a little bit too tall. But to be honest, when I first saw that, I did actually burst out laughing. That was not what I had in mind for this roof at all. Hopefully, now that I'm going to lower it down by a block and also expand the size of it to here as well, hopefully now it should look a little bit better. I didn't want it to be quite so raised compared to the rest of it. So hopefully now this will start. I'm going to check before I finish off the roof that this looks a little... Yeah, that looks much better. Maybe expanding it 1 more again might do well, but I think that looks pretty cool for my first attempt. And this is actually a really small house. It's like, I think in the story, this can be one of the oldest houses in the city. As you can just tell, it's one of the ones that was built before these grand houses came in. Sort of like the up house, like an old one being surrounded by the city. And that will continue when we build up along this road here. But I'm just going to finish this off, get it looking really good, get the detailing in as well. I need to get the windows in properly, everything like that sorted. And I want to come back over to this side of the street so you can start to encapsulate the entire road and really start to feel how this street is going to feel going up towards whatever I eventually build up on that hill. I think maybe some sort of like grand library or community centre, something like that's going to be like the upper middle district of the city. So it's going to be some more grand housing up there and also better roads. So once that road goes up, we'll really be able to start to see how this city is going to feel, because I think this is going to be really cool. So for this next building, I want to expand on what we did there with the tiered sort of rooms going up as the house goes up. But instead of doing a small little higher up roof like I did there, I don't really know what it's called. I want to expand it so we have 3 floors and each one is sort of stacked on top of the other one, and then a straight wall at the back. And what I'm thinking is using this block palette here, using light grey terracotta, which isn't a block I have ever used before, but I think this actually looks pretty good with the packed mud. I have never really used terracotta at all in any of my builds, especially not to the scale that I'm using it in this city. So I think this is actually a pretty good looking design for this build, but I'm not exactly sure as how it looks. What I want to do is have these 2 buildings look as if they are really old, as if they're the oldest parts of the city, and then replicate these sort of styles around the lower city all around, because we have the newer builds. But then we also have the towers like this one here. You can see with like the moss showing some age. So I want to bring in some more old style housing. And I think the best way to do that is to make them a little bit smaller like this one. These 2 look like they've been built in 2 different time periods. And I sort of want to replicate that and bring that into my build for this house. But I'm also concerned about how long this video is taking now. So I think we're going to move into quite a long time lapse now, because what I want to do is get this building done and then move over to this one here on this side of the street. And what I'm envisioning is what we did over there with those 2 houses with the setback, but make it go all the way along and then have it as if 2 houses are facing this way with a large courtyard at the front here. And that's the only way I can think of getting it so we don't end up with that again on the side of 2 roads. So I'm going to jump into quite a long time lapse now, and we'll see how much of this we can get done in the next few Minecraft days, probably in the next 30 Minecraft days. We are now halfway through this 100 days, so that means it is time to build our first interior. I am building an interior in every episode of this series for two main reasons. One, because I want this city to look alive. I want every building to have a purpose. When you look through a window, you see something that isn't just emptiness. And the second is because my interior builds are terrible. I am a classic Minecraft builder. I do not do the interiors. I build the exterior, move on, say I'm going to do the interior the next day. I never do it. So now I am forcing myself to do interiors. This first one, I wanted to create a small little bar in this smallest build that we completed 30 days ago. Mainly because, as I just said, my interior build skills are absolutely terrible. So I wanted to do a small build so I'm less likely to mess it up. And then we'll slowly get bigger, working our way up to builds the size of the guild hall later on. And I absolutely love how this interior actually worked out. But this is my chance to get you guys to subscribe. And while you're down there, like the video as well. These videos take so long for me to make. I've been working on this one for over a week and I've got so many plans for this world and you guys do not want to miss out on it. And with that, our first interior is done. And considering I have never done interiors before in Minecraft, I think this is looking really, really good for a small little bar. But we still have 45 days left of this challenge, and this video is getting very, very long. So we are going to have to do a lot of work in order to make it to 100 days. From here, I was focused on building up further towards the east of the city. These next few builds are very large ones and really connect the world together as I start to bring in some elevated gardens, which I'll later bring in with a bunch of trees and foliage, as is the theme of this entire city, to really bring the closeness of this street together, make it feel like you're canopy over the entire street. And what the end result is was super cool. So to finish off this 100 days, I want to build the first tower on the east side of the city. This is currently a very tower-heavy city, especially over in the west. We have 3 of them in very close proximity, and I want to bring more of them up along the east so the city doesn't look quite so flat out this direction. And I have a very unique sort of style for this tower, and I really cannot wait to experiment with it and make it look as good as possible. And with that, our final building of this 100 days is completed. And after a little bit of decorating, this street is really starting to look amazing. And with that, that is 100 days of building inside my Minecraft Forever world. Thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. I have been Emerald Lord, and I will see you in the next Minecraft video. Goodbye.